Sean Diddy Combs is still behind bars this morning after a second judge denied him bail as he faces federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Combs was arrested Monday in New York. In his latest appeal, he offered to give up $50 million and restrict his female visitors just his family. But he now waits in jail for what could be at least a year before his trial begins. So joining me now here in Studio 57 with the latest on this case is CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano. This is quite a case. So this is the second judge, his second attempt to get bail, and he offered all kinds of things that I haven't heard before and still got turned down.
All kinds of things. And Anne-Marie, the prosecution kept saying, look, he has shown that he's not a flight risk. He is trying to sell his plane. He paid off the house, the $50 million, $48 million house in Miami, so that could be a security of sorts. So that could be a collateral for the bail. His family, including his 3 sons, his mother, his sister, and 2 of the mothers of 2 of his daughters were all named as co-sponsors, if you will. They proposed a third-party or independent company to do 24-hour surveillance in his house in Miami, of course, monitoring, no access to internet, no access to cell phone. As you said, female visitors, except the mothers of his children, would not be allowed into the house. And the judge said, first of all, you couldn't even, from the defense side, you could not prove that he's not a flight risk, despite his willingness, as they said, to sell his plane, and that the plane is not in the areas or in the cities where he would be, and that they couldn't prove that he's not a danger to the community, and that he couldn't corrupt the case by trying to reach out to victims, something that the prosecutors have said he had tried to do multiple times. So they're saying, look, through third parties, you could still try and threaten or intimidate witnesses or victims.
Yeah, that witness tampering component of it. Are his lawyers complaining about conditions in jail?
Oh, yeah. This is a place, the lawyer yesterday was talking about, the conditions he could be facing, the conditions in the prison, and this is a place that has been called hell on earth. This is a place that has severe understaffing issues. Not long ago, throughout the winter, inmates went through in the middle of the winter, through a whole week without power. They have something, when it comes to the staffing shortages and accusations of smuggling and corruption, there's been more than 6 staff members in the last 5 years who have been charged with crimes. There have been violent events. Somebody died this year by suicide. Somebody else died in a beating. There have been, or actually there were something like 4 suicides this year. Somebody was stabbed, somebody died in a beating. It's a very, very difficult place to be in and survive. And that's why his attorney's saying, please let him post bail, or at least they're trying to move him to a separate prison or a jail in New Jersey.
Quite a shocking shift in conditions for somebody like Puffy.
Who was living in a $50 million home.
Exactly, one of them. Lilia, thank you.